All right, everyone, it's 1 o'clock. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
We hear you, Mark.
All right, well, we will bring this meeting to order. I am told that, once again, we do not have a quorum, so we will not need to, well, I guess we can, are there any corrections to the minutes of 6:29, 11:17, 8:24, or 12:19? Well, we can't approve them, but if they look okay to you, the next time we meet, hopefully we'll have a quorum and we can approve these minutes as well. All right, the next item on our agenda is the enforcement report from Jack.
Hi, good afternoon. So I'm here to provide the enforcement report for licensing services. And for the report basically indicates that during the period from December 20th, 2023, which was the day after the last board meeting, to the present, we've received 188 new real estate complaints. And during that same time frame, we've completed 131 investigations. 111 of those cases resulted in the closing of a case, and the cases were closed for a variety of different reasons. Sometimes we had cases that were closed as abandoned or withdrawn. We've determined that some cases involved matters that were civil matters, not licensing matters. Some cases were closed as a result of determining that there was no violation or no merit to the complaint. We also resolved about 12 cases. We determined that 12 cases were resolved. We issued some warning and instruction letters. And what we also, during that same time frame, referred 20 cases to the Office of General Counsel for review and possible disciplinary action. And as it stands today, we're currently investigating 715 real estate complaints. Does anybody have any questions about the report?
Appears not. Thank you very much. Now, I was remiss. I should have taken a roll call, even though we do not have a quorum. So I will run down the roll call. Sindaya Espitia. Derminder Basin. Boy, I hope I got that right. Shauna Menifee. Gregory Weston. Neil Garfinkel.
Present.
Dale Burnett. Diane Ramirez.
Present.
Kristalina King. Caroline Burton. Tricia O'Connor. Dave Dworkin.
Rochester is working on getting Dave running. I'm not sure. We'll give him a call.
Okay, I'm told that Dave is trying to join us, but they're having technical difficulties. All right, we'll now move on to the next report, the processing report from Emily, please.
Good afternoon. Included in the materials you were provided is a report of the number of current real estate licensees for January of 2023 and January of 2024. These report group licensees into broker and branch office licenses and salesperson licenses. The totals are listed by county. The numbers are fairly consistent. The report showed that the total number of licensees in 2024 is slightly lower than in 2023 at the same time. However, the overall change is about 3%.
Thank you, Emily. Does anyone have any questions? All right, thank you. The examination report from Shannon, please.
Hello. The following statistics cover January to February 2024. The real estate salesperson exam was administered to 3,130 applicants with a pass rate of 55%. The real estate broker exam was administered to 216 applicants with a pass rate of 52%. These numbers are consistent with the last 2 months of 2023.
The pass-fail numbers or the number of people taking the test?
Both are fairly consistent.
Both are.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions for Shannon? All right. Action items, real estate advertising email notification. Jody.
So I assume most of you know that an email notification was sent out as pursuant to a discussion we had at the last board meeting to direct real estate licensees to our website where we have guidance on advertising. And the regulations are on there, a checklist, and an additional document that provides more guidance. It was discussed at the last meeting that there's still some violations or, the industry is seeing some violations. So this is one of the remedies that we came up with. So that was sent out in January.
Well, thank you for doing that. Appreciate it. Any questions for Jody? All right, on to new business. The New York Attorneys for Continuing Education, Dave Mossberg.
So good afternoon. This is actually a continuation of something that we had discussed at the prior board meetings. Again, I had mentioned previously that the department wanted to discuss with the board a potential recommendation to change our regulations with respect to clarifying attorney requirements to teach continuing ed. But unfortunately, as there isn't a quorum, there's not really much I could say beyond what I had previously said at the last board meeting, which, in my opinion, is accurately reflected in the meeting summary from the last one. So, I don't really have anything new to add unless the three board members have questions. I would just refer to the last minute meetings.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just want to go on the record, though, with respect to this matter, as I am a New York State attorney, I'm also an instructor. I'm going to recuse myself from any conversations regarding this particular matter.
Thank you, Neil. Any other questions for Dave on this item? All right, Dave, you're still up. Regulatory discussion regarding school student lists.
So again, similar to my just previously made comment regarding the regulatory proposal for continuing ed. This was something that I had discussed previously, which was to discuss with the board a recommendation to amend regulations to conform to Governor Hochul's 2023 state proposal to make to make amendments to make businesses or schools no longer have to provide student lists. We thought it was cumbersome, burdensome, and not environmentally friendly. But again, since there's decorum, we can't really discuss that. And so, again, my opinion, reviewing the minutes from last time, it appears to be an accurate reflection.
Okay. All right. Let me go get him in here. No one. I didn't bring him in until I had it.
All right, thank you. Is there any other new business to come before the board?
So
Hearing no other new business, this section of the meeting, portion of the meeting is adjourned. I will just say parenthetically that it is concerning now that for 5 consecutive meetings, we haven't had a quorum. I don't know how we address that matter, and I guess I would pose that to the staff. I'm not sure what the statute says, but it would seem to me if there are repeated unexcused absences, there should be a way to either remove or in some other way induce their participation.
Yeah, so we are, I won't speak to the statute, Dave, I don't know if there's anything.
Yeah, so RPL 442I4 does state that a board member who fails to attend 3 consecutive meetings shall forfeit the seat unless the Secretary of State, upon request from the member, finds the member should have been excused from a meeting by reason of illness or death of a family member. I don't know that the Secretary of State or, this provision has ever been triggered previously, but it sounds like, first the member has to have 3 unexcused absences, then the secretary would probably have to send some sort of notice saying you have 3 unexcused absences. The board member would then, I guess, would have to sort of petition to say, these were valid or these should have been excused. Can you consider it? And then the secretary would have to, I guess, formally excuse them almost retroactively. And then the person would appear to retain their seat. But I don't know if there's any sort of precedent for this before. And I also don't know which board members may not have had 3 excused or unexcused absences. So,
Well, we know from the draft minutes because we have people who have excused absences. So if you're not listed as present and you're not listed as an excused absence, you are an unexcused absence. So respectfully, I would say we should begin this process out of respect for Diane's time and Neil's time and the other board members of staff time who come here and are intending to do the job we were asked to do, and then we come in repeatedly unable to do any business. Now, fortunately, we haven't had a crisis of any kind to deal with, but what if we did? So again, I would say now is the time to begin moving forward and making sure that these folks, they've made an obligation. If they don't want to do it, that's fine. Nobody's getting paid to do this. This is not something you're going to get a promotion to. You're doing it out of your interest for the industry. And it seems to me that if you don't want to do it, let's get somebody in who does.
So
I would second Duncan's opinion and statement there. And in particular, there's a lot going on in the nationwide regarding real estate brokers and so on. And I think that certain things may have to change. The agency disclosure form, we may need to reconsider and look at that, given some of the settlements that may be coming down. I think we are going to have things, as Duncan suggested, that are going to need our attention, and we need to have a board that is functioning.
So I'm gonna have Candy kind of research going back to kind of put a chart together so
Terrific.
that we can, at least see what's going on, as far as attendance goes, and that'll be the first step. We can talk about it internally. Like Dave mentioned, I don't know if we've done this in the past, so I'd like to get a feel for, what's going on. But Dave, I have a couple questions for you. So
Sure.
if by chance we determine, just like if we had a resignation, if we determine that maybe there's a member or two that, they're taken off the board, does that impact the quorum, the attendance requirements for, like, are vacancies included in? I know the
Yeah,
boards.
so-
Okay.
Yeah, so this is one of the unique boards where quorum is counted based solely on those who are serving, not on how many positions exist totally. So this is a 15-member board. There's obviously the secretary and the superintendent of financial services, and then 13 other appointed members. So right now there's 14 members appointed to the 15-person board. So we would only need the majority of 14, not 15. So you count like who's appointed.
And what makes this lack of a quorum even more frustrating is if this date is correct, we have a full board, there are no vacancies.
I think there's one vacancy, but because I think there's like one that's pending.
I
Yes.
stand corrected, I do see that it is blank there. So one out of all the rest, so that's, it's a pretty full board otherwise.
Yeah, I
I
would
would
agree.
think, I would think at a minimum, the Secretary of State would send a letter to the folks who have missed meetings saying, you have an obligation, well, you can come up with words, but you understand the sentiment that you should be showing up. Or step aside, your choice. I mean, the department could be more accommodating, you've got video options. I can't imagine a situation where if a member said, I need to zoom in, I can't get to Rochester or wherever, that you wouldn't accommodate that. So it seems to me a pretty weak excuse that people would miss more than one meeting.
We'll look at it, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would
All
just
right.
note though, if it looks like we do have the Rochester, so we do have a board member now, and then there's another board member here as well. So we have 2 more. So for record keeping purposes, we shouldn't list those here as unexcused.
Terrific. Still well short of a quorum.
Yes.
All right, well, with the board meeting concluded, we'll open up the public hearing session. Dave?
Yeah, thank you. So this is a public hearing open pursuant to RPL 442I paragraph 6, which requires, in addition to the regularly scheduled board meetings, that there be one public hearing in New York City, Buffalo, and Albany. The purpose of the hearing is to solicit from members of the public suggestions, comments, and observations about real estate practices in New York. It doesn't appear as if there are any members of the public in New York City. So I'll ask if there's any members from the public in Albany.
Or not?
Okay. There being no public members in New York City or Albany, and doesn't appear anyone is in Buffalo as well. I hereby close this public meeting open pursuant to 442I paragraph 6. Thank you.
Well, thank you to board members for coming and the staff for all of your work. Much appreciated. And we will hopefully see you all at the next meeting.
Thank you.